You weren't dating her. You were trying to heal through her. Imagine showing up on date night already exhausted by your own past. The echo of a critical father, the sting of a distant mother, the unmet needs that shaped you into someone always chasing approval. You blamed her. She doesn't appreciate me, or she's too needy. But here's the hard truth. She wasn't the problem. Your inner child was, and he hijacked every interaction. Over the next 16 minutes, we'll trace 6 pivotal moments where childhood wounds dictated your behavior, sabotaged intimacy, and eroded your presence. We'll explore how attachment patterns left you reacting instead of responding, craving repair instead of authentic connection, and how a Stoic reframe can turn those triggers into tools. By reclaiming accountability, owning your emotions, your needs, and your actions, you'll unlock a blueprint for personal power, emotional resilience, mental clarity, and the quiet confidence that subtly draws respect and attraction, even in that knowing smile from younger women. This isn't therapy fluff. It's a practical strategy rooted in Stoic wisdom and modern psychology. Let's dive into Reason 1. Reason 1. You sought repair, not connection. In every relationship, there's an invisible ledger, emotional deposits and withdrawals. If you grew up with conditional affection, where love arrived only after obedience or achievement, you learned to treat relationships like repair projects. You entered partnerships hoping she'd fix your loneliness, heal your shame, or fill gaps you could never close yourself. So when she offered comfort, you latched on desperately, interpreting her warmth as validation of your worth. But when she couldn't offer enough, you panicked, lashing out or withdrawing. You missed genuine connection because you were transactionally obsessed. Give comfort, receive healing. Contrast this with healthy connection, 2 whole individuals engaging in reciprocal support. A mature man first secures his own validation through daily self-inventory. Try this exercise. Each morning, list 3 things you value about yourself, qualities like integrity, humor, or perseverance. Then note 1 area to strengthen. This practice shifts your identity from "I need her to feel worthy" to "I stand in my own worth." When you approach her from that foundation, you're no longer a repair seeker, but a companion, curious about her inner world. She senses the difference in your calm inquiries, in your steady gaze, in the space you allow her to be herself. That's authentic connection. Reason 2. You reacted. You didn't respond. Childhood wounds function like emotional tripwires. A raised eyebrow from her resurrects the critical teacher who belittled you. A delayed text echoes the abandonment you felt as a boy. You react, snapping, sulking, or silent treatment, believing she's the cause. In reality, you're reliving old pain. Stoicism offers a remedy, the gap between stimulus and response. That space, however small, is your power. When you feel the familiar sting, a perceived slight, train yourself to pause. Notice the bodily sensation, tension in your chest, a knot in your stomach. Label the emotion. There's my hurt child. Then ask, what virtue do I choose now? Patience? Temperance? Respond with intention. Perhaps you say, I felt a pang when you looked away. Could we talk? Rather than, accusatory silence or harsh words. This transforms conflict into collaboration. She's not the enemy. Your unresolved past is. By consistently applying this pause, you rebuild emotional stability. Younger men may implode under stress. A stoic man becomes the anchor in the storm. Over time, her smiles become deeper, rooted in knowing you won't be constantly derailed by shadows from your past. Reason 3. You confused intimacy with dependency. Your inner child begged for security, so you attached like glue. Constant texts, canceled plans with friends, hyper-focus on her mood. You believed more closeness equaled more love, but intimacy requires autonomy. You built a gilded cage, and it suffocated the relationship. Emotional, mental, and financial stability are bedrock of attraction. Stability signals you carry your own weight. If you're overly dependent, you drain her vitality and blur your masculine edge. Mature men cultivate varied interests, whether it's woodworking, investing, or mentoring, then share those experiences rather than your unresolved fears. Next time you feel the urge to cancel a solo commitment for extra time together, pause. Ask, what am I gaining? What might I lose? Then honor your plan. Tell her, I've got my workshop tonight, but I'd love to catch up afterward. This demonstrates reliability to both her and yourself. Her response, perhaps a supportive smile, tests your autonomy. When you stand firm in your world, she's free to choose closeness, not coerced into it. That dynamic polarity fosters genuine intimacy. Reason 4. You chased approval instead of respect. Approval addiction is the legacy of a childhood where affection was conditional. You learned to mirror others, to say the right things, to shrink your opinions. In a relationship, this plays out as constant agreement on dates, on politics, on life goals, leaving no room for your authentic voice. Respect, however, emerges from integrity. Older men possess life's rich tapestry. Success is won, failures survived, lessons learned. That maturity is magnetic. But when you chase approval, you dilute it. Reclaim your authentic perspective. When she proposes a plan you disagree with, articulate your stance. I appreciate your suggestion, but here's how I see it. Use the Stoic technique of premortem. Consider possible outcomes, weigh risks, then state your decision confidently. Invite her viewpoint, but don't cave to consensus. Witness her subtle shift in body language, a raised brow, a momentary spark in her eyes. That's respect blooming. She sees a man who stands for something. Over time, this mutual exchange of ideas forms a deeper bond than superficial harmony ever could. Reason 5. You overlook the power of presence. Your unconscious habit, reflexively checking your phone, hurried chatter filling silences, restless shifts in your seat, spoke volumes. These are signs of a man avoiding stillness, avoiding himself. Yet presence is the quietest, most potent form of attraction. Presence is intentional, feet grounded, spine aligned, breath steady. It's the unwavering eye contact that says, I'm here, fully. Cultivate it with a daily practice. Find 5 minutes, morning or evening, to sit without stimulus. Focus on your breath. When thoughts intrude, label them and return to attention. At dinner, banish the phone. Feel the weight of the glass, the rhythm of her voice. Silence isn't a vacuum, it's a canvas for deeper connection. Younger men rush to fill gaps with jokes or excessive compliments. A mature man sits in the power of unspoken understanding. Watch for her reaction, a softening in her expression, a slow, genuine smile. That's the subconscious test passed. She feels seen, valued, and safe in your presence. Reason 6. You forgot accountability equals liberation. Blame is a comfortable prison. It comforts the wounded child. If only my father had. You cast responsibility on others while your power to change remained dormant. Stoicism demands radical ownership. Events aren't your fault, but your reactions are your responsibility. Start each day with a morning dispatch. Write one challenge you faced yesterday, one way you reacted, and one stoic virtue you'll apply today. This small ritual rewires your mind for agency. When you trip into old patterns, jealousy, people-pleasing, reactivity, catch yourself. Acknowledge, that was my kid's fear. Then choose a new action. Maybe you initiate a calm conversation, set a boundary, or carve out alone time. With each act of ownership, your inner critic loses its grip. You're liberated from the past and present pain. That freedom isn't silent. It radiates in your posture, your voice, and those moments when she meets your gaze, surprised by the calm strength she sees. Blueprint for personal power. We've revealed 6 truths. You sought repair, not connection. You reacted, you didn't respond. You confused intimacy with dependency. You chased approval instead of respect. You overlooked the power of presence. You forgot accountability equals liberation. She wasn't the problem, your inner child was. But now you have the Stoic map. Turn those triggers into teachers, wounds into wisdom, and relationships into reflections of your own strength. Accountability breeds liberation, and liberation fuels presence, wisdom, and mature attraction. Which truth will you own first? Comment below, like, subscribe, and share with a brother ready to reclaim his power. Until next time, own your story, master your emotions, and lead with unshakable presence.